So let me just change this to a div. We basically aren't telling it to route anywhere. We are just using it as a clickable element. So we might as well be using something else. And now it is working, except I can't click on the cart button. That's not working yet, but everything else is working. Let me scroll up to see my original error here. So it says cannot convert undefined or null to an object. And this loop is basically inside of my sidebar component. So it's complaining about this line here, line 25. I'm trying to loop through a cart object, get the quantity and key as well as the index. And basically it's saying that cart must be undefined value. So let me take a look in my app here. It's not opening, so let me actually take a look at the original code. And inside of my app.js, I have all of this code moved over, except this mounted here, but I don't need that anymore because I can now directly import the JSON file. I don't need to fetch it. So here's my sidebar component. And actually I didn't copy over any of the methods here, and I'm also forgetting to add in the props. So let me go ahead and do that. Just copy this, go back here to sidebar, and I do need a script tag at the bottom here. So I'm gonna add a script tag, paste in the props, and then I also want the methods from here. So I'm going to grab those as well. Now calculate total and get price are defined. And then I also have all of the props here. So let's see if this works. Yay! And the toggle is perfectly working. Of course, it's starting off as open. If I refresh it, it just automatically opens. So let me change that in app.view. I'll come here and say show sidebar is false. All right, let me see if we can use this. So it's not dynamically adding items to the cart yet. So we will fix that in the next video. In this video, we are going to hook up the add to cart functionality so that when we add to cart here, it will show up in the sidebar. If I look in the terminal right now, you can see that this add to cart, it's saying it's not a function. So I'm getting an error when I click this add to cart button. Now I can see why I'm getting that, because that is in my homepage component. And if I go down here, I can see this add to cart function that I'm calling when I click that button is not defined anywhere in this component. Where is that function defined? It is in the app.view file. So if I go to my methods, I can see I have an add to cart method right here. I basically need to pass this function into my homepage for my homepage to be able to use. So I'm going to also pass that through the router as I did before, and then in my homepage I can also receive that as a prop. Add that onto the props list, add to cart. So I should have access to the function that I passed into this home component now through the router view. And let me refresh and see if this works. Add to cart, and you can see that the function is working because the quantity changed down to 0. The cart says 2 items, and if I open it, it does indeed list 2 items here. Now, why are there forward slashes here? We can actually see in the home page that in regular JavaScript, this is actually in the sidebar component, that in order to put a $sign before the variable, we needed to escape it. But we don't have to do that in a Vue.js application because it's no longer in a regular JavaScript file. It's in our Vue.js template. So I can get rid of all of these escaping characters, and now that looks much better. Now if I want to delete this, it deletes, no longer have any items in the cart. I can add a couple items and I get items in the cart. If I go to another page, the cart should still work because that is a shared component.